Baseball, oh baseball, I can't get enough. Thank you for tuning in and always giving us the support here at BarrelUp Podcast. This is your host, Jean Carlos, and like I said before, we are officially back. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel BarrelUp Podcast. Follow us on Instagram, BarrelUp_podcast. And for the baseball development program, follow us on BarrelUp_baseball on Instagram. Today's episode, I want to definitely speak about a problem that has been occurring here in the New York area. I can only speak for the New York area because I train baseball players in the New York area. I've been training baseball players for almost 6 years now. This is the second year where I have my own program. And I always questioned the fact that why is it that college scouts abroad, national, and throughout the whole United States, why is it that they don't take New York baseball players so serious as opposed to players from the South, Florida, Texas, California? What is it? What is it? I made it a task to myself to find out the reason why, and I do see throughout my tenure here in the baseball development program, I do see that we have a lot of talent here in New York. But I understand what the problem is now. The problem is that kids, when I say kids, I'm talking about high schoolers from 9th all the way to 12th grade athletes. They don't have the loyalty, nor do they have the commitment 100% to one program. This is something I want to touch base on so that all high school players in New York and throughout the country can listen and take this as an advice. Coming from a person who has played semi-pro, who has been offered MLB contracts abroad in Dominican Republic, who knows the game and who has the credentials, I would say. I want you guys to listen and take this as an advice so that your career, whether it be in college baseball, whether it be in pro baseball, can be a long-lasting one. The problem that we have here in New York, at least in New York, is that kids are not loyal to one specific program. They want to work hard for 3 months and then jump ship or leave that program to go somewhere else just because they hear that they're going to be part of different tournaments and things like that. That's not the way that you're going to progress. And I hope that everyone who has a dream to make it to the majors or play college or pro ball listens. You're supposed to find one good program that is helping you develop your skills, your talent, and helping you succeed with the goal being you to be a very good or above average college player. After that, you can definitely work towards pro. But the problem I see is that there's no loyalty here as far as staying with one committed program and working hard and seeing the goal till the end. I've seen it happen with various programs, not only mine, but with various programs where kids get better and then they want to go showcase their talent somewhere else. And in part, we have to understand that these kids are teenagers, so they can be swayed very easily. The problem starts where there's other coaches basically hitting up players under the rug and incentivizing them to come to their program. That's where the problem lies, because kids can be persuaded very easily, and it's not fair to see, as I speak for myself and for other coaches, when you're working hard with a kid, when you're seeing the progression that the kid is making, and then you see that the kid is secretly showcasing his talents, your hard work somewhere else. So I call us coaches to do better, to have a medium of respect towards the hard work that coaches are putting in with their respective prospects. And then another situation that can happen is that if I'm telling you one thing here and you're doing it correct and you're avoiding injury and you're progressing, and another coach is telling you something somewhere else and is diverging from the program that you have set with your premier development program, you're just risking yourself for injury. You don't need 2, 3, 4, 5 programs to obtain a goal. You need one good baseball program to obtain the goal that you're looking for. That's the problem that we're having. And I understand why now I see that New York baseball players aren't taken into account when it comes to the MLB draft as much. A little bit more now because we have seen some baseball players from New York make it to the majors. Great. But we want to see more of that. And it starts with the discipline and the attitude you take towards your progression. I call us coaches to do better. Just because you see a kid shining somewhere else doesn't mean that you cannot acquire your own. And by all means, there's no kid that should be stuck to one program if they don't feel fit. But there's ways to go about changing a program or even considering something else, right? Every little ounce of work that each one of us coaches puts into a kid must be accounted for and must be respected. Comes down to other coaches contacting your players to play on their team after they see that they are striving with their respective program. Where were you when that kid didn't have the skills that he has? So I call for us coaches to have a little bit of respect towards one another and to not play dirty the way it's being seen. It's a very big problem, and this is why kids are not progressing to their full potential, because they're being told one thing here and then they're being swayed to go somewhere else because they see the progress they've made in their program number one. We got to do better. We got to do better. And I hope that this serves as a lesson and as advice to all coaches nationwide to do what's best for the kid, right? We have to understand they are, not only are they developing as athletes, but they are developing as human beings, okay? And you don't want to instill that inconsistency in a child, in a kid going towards college, because no college program will tolerate that. And I just hope that we do better and that we respect each other's hard work as far as coaching, as far as development. We want to avoid injuries with our athletes, and we want to see our athletes to their highest potential. And this is coming from Jean Carlos here at BarrelUp Baseball Player Development, BarrelUp Podcast, as we should all be on the same page, and we shouldn't toot our horn. We shouldn't basically go behind each other's back and try to steal players from our respective program. I call this a moment of reflection and a moment of evaluation to see what are you really doing and what is it that you want to contribute to the next generation. Integrity is very big, and character, what you do when nobody's watching, comes into play. So I hope that this serves as a lesson. I hope that if you are a high school ball player, if you are in a baseball program and you're listening to this, take this as an advice. We've been there where you are, where you want to go, done that, right? Ask around. Before you get into a program, ask around what's going on, what level of progression other players having, right? And coaches that are contacting players from different programs, please stop. That's not speaking well on your name. I hope that this serves as a lesson and as a message. Thank you. This is John Carlos from BarrelUp Podcast.